Hello, and welcome to a little video about Target 2D, where we're going to model and solve a couple linear inequalities. Alright, number 1. Adrian saved $200. He already spent $25. He plans to spend $5 on a Starbucks drink every week. Let's write an inequality that represents this. Okay, so Adrian started off with $200. Adrian cannot spend any more than $200, so 200 goes on the larger side of our inequality symbol because that's the most he can spend. Adrian can also spend exactly $200, so I'm putting down an or equal to sign. Now, Adrian has already spent $25. That's set in stone, you can't undo that. And he plans to spend $5 every week on Starbucks. $5 each week. Number 2. Vivian wants to buy a ton of Air Jordans. She worked all summer and saved $650. She has already spent $145 and plans to spend $150 on a pair of Air Jordans per month. Let's write an inequality. So Vivian started, excuse me, I didn't mean to cough in your ear. I accidentally had the highlighter there, and I choked a little. All good. Okay, so we start off with $650. That's how much Vivian has to begin with. Then, let's think about it. Vivian can only spend $650 or less, because that's all she has. She can also, theoretically, spend all of her money. So she can spend less or exactly $650. Now, Vivian has already spent $145. So that cannot change. That's written in stone. That stays $145. And she plans to spend $150 per month on new Air Jordans. She must really like Air Jordans. And I don't even buy shoes every month. All right. So that's setting up inequalities. Now let's take a little look at solving inequalities. The biggest thing that we have to remember here is that if we multiply or divide each side by a negative number, we flip the symbol. Otherwise, solving them is exactly like solving equations. All right, so let's begin. Let's do number 3. Okay, so we have 3 over 2x is greater than 4. In order to get x by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by 2 over 3. Here, everything cancels. We're left with x is greater than 8/3, so that's about 4.7-ish. Okay, let's graph it. Because this is a greater than symbol, a symbol like this, or a less than symbol, they get open circles. We're going to put an open circle on 4.7. There you are. And since x is greater, it goes to the right. Okay, number 4, we have negative 2/3 x is less than or equal to negative 4. Once again, in order to get x by itself, we're going to have to multiply both sides. This time, we're multiplying by a negative number. Everything cancels out here, so we're just left with x. 4 times negative 3 over 2 is negative 6. And because we multiplied by a negative, our symbol flips. When we have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to symbol, we draw a colored in circle. So x is greater than negative 6, colored in circle on negative 6, and we shade to the right. Number 5. All right, 80 is less than or equal to 78 minus x. The first step that I'm going to take is subtract 78 from both sides. 80 minus 78 is 2, is less than or equal to, all we have left here is negative x. Now negative x is really negative 1x. So let's divide both sides by negative 1 to get x by itself. We end up with negative 2 on the left side, x on the right, and because we divided by a negative, our symbol flips. Now this is a greater than or equal to symbol, so I'm going to put a colored in dot on negative 2. X is on the pointy side of my symbol. That's on the lesser side. So less is left. That's how I like to remember it. Right, number 6, let's take a look at that. The first thing that I'm going to do here is subtract 7 from both sides. 10 minus 7 is 3, and we're left with the symbol and negative 2x. Let's divide by negative 2 to get x by itself. On the left, we get negative 1.5. On the right, we just have x. And because we divided by a negative number, our symbol flips. On negative 1.5, I'm going to have an open circle. And because x is on the smaller side of my inequality symbol, that means less, so I'm shading left. Number 7, the first thing that I'm going to do is subtract 5 from both sides. 18 minus 5 is 13, and on the right side, we're just left with 3x. And I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 13 divided by 3 is about 4.3. On the right, we have x. And we did not divide by a negative, so our sign stays the same. On 4.3-ish, because I don't have a very accurate number line here, I'm going to put an open circle. X is on the open end of my inequality symbol. That means it's greater than, so it goes to the right. All right, number 8. Greg's camping group hikes down from their campsite. The function that we have here represents Greg's elevation over 240 minutes. Erin's campsite was at an elevation of 3,000 feet. She met up with Greg's group to hike down the remainder of the mountain together. So what we need to do here is identify where they kind of, overlap. So Erin is at an elevation of 3,000. So let's highlight that. And 3,000 right here. That means Erin will meet Greg's group at this point. And then, of course, they will continue down the mountain together. That's it. Number 9. The junior club is selling boxes of popcorn in order to raise money to go on a field trip. The function represents the total sales for 600 boxes. So that's, I guess, as many as they have. The club will only have enough money when the total sales reach 1,600 or greater. So if they don't make enough money, they can't afford the field trip. So let's check out where that happens. So 1,600 is what we're looking for. And 1,600 happens right here on our function. That's about 400 boxes. If we want 1,600 or more, I'm tracing my graph upwards because I don't want to earn less than 1,600, but more is good. And that's it. If you have any questions for me or your teachers about Lesson 2D, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!